Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing my microblading experience with you. I'm super excited about this video today just because I'm super excited about my brows. So I'm super excited to share this with you guys. Not only did I film my actual experience of getting my eyebrows done, but I also showed the whole entire healing process because I feel like that is like some gray area that people are kind of unsure about when they get their brows microbladed. So I thought I would kind of lay everything out, tell you exactly every single thing that I went through, so that way if you're thinking about getting this done, hopefully there'll be no surprises for you. I also have a lot of notes because I have a lot to talk about, so if you see me looking down, that's why. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget to tell you guys anything important. So yeah, I'm not going to explain what microblading is just because it's not my area of expertise. You know, if you have no idea what microblading is, just like go look it up. There's 1,000,001 things on the internet about it. It's basically a brow tattoo, but it's not like a traditional tattoo, which is why it's called microblading and not a tattoo. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started discussing everything with you guys. So I believe that absolutely the number one most important thing to consider when getting your eyebrows done is who you are going to. This is so important, especially because it's your face. And even though it's not like a permanent tattoo, it's on your face for a long time. So if your brows are not perfect, then you have to live with brows that aren't perfect. And sounds like my nightmare. If you guys are not aware of my background, I am a makeup artist. I went to school for makeup and then I got my aesthetics license, and now I work doing eyebrows, like waxing eyebrows and stuff. So I'm super passionate about eyebrows, and with that I know a lot of like technical things, like where your eyebrows should be and how they should look and all that kind of stuff. That I think obviously like the average woman probably doesn't think about when they're either like filling in their eyebrows or looking at a microblading artist. I never thought I would get my eyebrows microbladed just because I didn't really think that there would be anybody in my area that does perfect eyebrows. I would think that the only people that are like really good at doing eyebrows would be like in LA, you know, like that's, or like New York. That's kind of the way I think. But I did find somebody amazing, super close to me, and I'm just gonna warn you, like I'm going to be raving about this girl. She never asked me to talk about her. In fact, I asked her if I could film my experience, and I just wanted to do this genuinely just to like educate people on the experience, but like I'm obsessed with her, okay? And if you guys are curious about who she is, obviously I'm gonna leave all of her information down below in the description box. You guys can follow her on Instagram and Facebook, and I think that's it. I'm not sure, but I'll get all of her information and put it down there, don't you worry. All right, so now the actual process of getting my brows done. The first thing that she does is actually sketch out where she's gonna put your brows. So again, with me being obsessed with brows and doing makeup and doing brows, I thought I was going to be a crazy person. Like, this is how I want my brows. I want them to be exactly like this. And it's so crazy to me. Actually, me and a coworker who got done by her too both feel this way. Like, she just knows. You don't have to tell her. In fact, like she did things that I didn't even think of, and it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I needed my brows to be like this. Like, she is so smart, and on top of it, she's such a perfectionist. It's insane. I literally did not tell her anything, and she made them flawless. She also measures everything out so that everything is even on both sides and everything is exactly where it needs to be. And then on top of that, she also looks at you from like so many different angles. So you're laying down for most of the process, but she also has you look, sit up, stand straight up against the wall. She measures it out like with her phone, taking pictures and seeing it from all different angles to make sure that your brows look perfect in all these different angles. The process of sketching them out actually took longer than anything else just because she kept going back and you know, taking off this little bit and adding more and taking this and fixing that. And like she, you know, I would look at them and be like, oh yeah, they look perfect. And she'd be like, oh no, I see another spot right there. So yeah, that took a long time to get them absolutely perfect before she actually started doing the microblading. So before she started doing the actual microblading, she did put a numbing cream on me. So that's a question I get asked all the time is, does it hurt? And I'm like, they numb you. That's the best part, right? Like you get numbed, you don't have to worry about any pain. So after the numbing cream sat on for however long it was supposed to sit on, she started doing the actual microblading. So basically doing the actual hair strokes. And then after she makes some of the cuts, she puts on another numbing cream, which was like, that was like the good stuff. But to be honest with you guys, like when she was doing the actual microblading, I literally did not feel a thing. I think that I was feeling like slightly anxious and uncomfortable knowing that somebody was literally just like cutting my skin, but it did not hurt at all. Like it didn't feel like anything. I wouldn't even, it felt like nothing. So this is what I really loved about her and my experience is that after the microblading, she did shading, which was not something that I knew that I needed, but she kind of showed me that, okay, here we have strokes. In between those strokes, you can see just empty space of skin. So the shading really helped to fill in those areas. You could definitely do microblading alone. Obviously, there are a lot of people that do that. I just think it's going to be like a super, super natural look. For me, I wanted to not have to fill in my eyebrows. Well, and honestly though, like I still feel like with the microblading, even if you wanted a super natural look, I felt like the shading was just necessary, and to me, I just couldn't believe how many people don't do it. So I absolutely love the shading, and that's what I think really set her apart from other people that I found in my area that are also really good. But I feel like that just takes her to the next level, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the shading I still think looks super natural, but for me, I wanted like a lot of it because I was like, I don't want to fill in my brows ever. So basically when everything is done, she does go back and looks at you from every single angle just to make sure everything is still perfect and symmetrical and flawless. And you know, if she needs to, if she sits you up and says, oh, I know I see a spot, then she's gonna lay you back and keep going. She's such a perfectionist. So yeah, the only part that I would say, and literally, I would not classify any part of my experience as pain. I would say that during the shading, it started to get slightly uncomfortable, and I wasn't even complaining. Like I was just telling her like, okay, I'm starting to feel it now. It doesn't hurt though. And then she goes, oh no, I'll get more numbing cream. And I was like, no, it's really not that bad. And she was like, no, you don't have to feel it. It's okay. And I was like, okay, I mean, if you want to give me more numbing cream, sure, I'll take it. So yeah, that was really cool. And again, like I wouldn't even classify it as pain. It was just kind of like, ooh, I'm starting to feel that a little bit, but it was obviously super bearable. And it was like, what, like 2 minutes of my life? Like, it's fine. Literally, like, I think I would sit through that unnumbed just to have perfect brows, you know? Like, I would really endure the pain just to have perfect brows because that's just who I am as a person. So now we are going to move on to the healing process. And I think this is something that people either are really concerned about beforehand if they know what the healing process involves, or people don't know and then they freak out when things happen. This is why I'm doing this segment of the video so you guys can see how my brows look. To be honest, one of my coworkers went to Loann to get her eyebrows microbladed as well, and she healed way better than I did. Like, she did not have an awkward period at all, and I definitely did. And so I'm kind of glad that I did though, so I can show you guys and really show you how it wasn't that bad and how I dealt with it, and yeah. So before I show you guys, obviously after, I wanted to show you guys what my brows look like before. So here are my brows before. People ask me all the time, like, why would you get microbladed? Your eyebrows are so full, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, like, this is not, I don't think this is a flattering shot of my brows. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be just, like, honest. And I always said, like, yeah, I mean, my brows are pretty good. Like, I don't need to get my eyebrows microbladed because I have no brows. I want to get them microbladed because I don't want to fill in my brows. That was basically that for me. And so I have for you guys how I looked the next day. And the next day, they were obviously a lot darker. They look a little unnatural at this point, which is normal. The next day is probably gonna be, the next 2 days I would say are probably the darkest that they are. And, but to be honest, it really wasn't that bad. If I just put on a little bit of makeup and like mascara, like I don't think it looked that bad. It was just kind of like I had my eyebrows filled in a little bit bold. But literally like this day and age, who cares if you're walking around with bold brows, right? Like everybody's walking around with bold brows, so I don't think it looks weird at all. And I would say they were pretty much like that for the next couple days. They started to get dry and started to scab, and those scabs started to come off. So you'll see that here on day 5. You see the scabs coming off, and they did not come off in a cute way for me. They were not looking so good, but to me, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I just took a pencil and filled in the lighter spots, just so it all blended in with the dark spots, and literally like I would go to work like that and nobody would notice the difference. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Just keep an eyebrow pencil on hand and fill in your light spots, and then you'll be good. So then we have the next day, day 6, and a lot of scabs came off that day. I think day 5, like those scabs were just like ready to go. And every time I touched my brow, it was like another one came off. And most of it came off in the tail, and I really think that's just because that's where I had all the shading done. That came off, but then again, like I just continued to fill in the spots that came off. And again, it was not really big of a deal. So I basically just filled in my tails and didn't have to fill in the rest, so it was good. From that point on, basically, I didn't really film much of it because it wasn't that interesting. After the scabs come off, they kind of just stayed lighter and then slowly got darker as we got closer. So after all my scabs came off, it almost, I mean, obviously there was a little bit of color as you could see, but it almost felt like I didn't get anything done. Like I needed to really completely fill in my brows every day, which obviously wasn't that big of a deal because that's what I'm used to. And then here's a shot of me completely healed, and this was right before I went in for my touch-up. Obviously they were way better than the before shot. There's definitely some color. When I didn't have makeup on, it felt nicer than, you know, how I was before, but I really needed that touch-up, and that's really the key is you're never gonna be completely satisfied with your eyebrows the first round. Truly is a 2-step process, and that's another thing I think people forget. Like, you need the touch-up. Like, you have to go back for that touch-up. It's a necessity for your outcome to be how you want it. So next I have right after the touch-up. So for the touch-up, she only did shading on me. I think that my strokes held up pretty well. Like, my brows still had that texture from the actual microblading strokes, but I just told her, like, I'm not afraid of them being dark, and I want to not be able to fill them in at all. And she said, okay, yep, we're just gonna do the shading. So that's what we did. So immediately after, they were a little bit darker. But the healing process from the touch-up, it was like nothing. It was like they were dark for a couple days, and then they kind of lightened up, and then they were normal. So the final shot is completely healed. I actually filmed that final shot today before I did my makeup. So I had my touch-up roughly like 3 to 4 months ago. So that's how good they still look after 3 to 4 months. I hardly ever fill in my eyebrows. They're not filled in right now at all, actually. Every day I basically just put in a clear brow gel just so my hairs stay where they need to stay. And yeah, every once in a while I'll fill in my brows just a little bit if I'm wearing a super dramatic makeup look, but to be honest with you, hardly ever. Like, I feel like my makeup's even pretty dramatic today, and I didn't fill them in. I don't feel the need to most of the time. So yeah, like I said before, I think that what really sets her apart obviously is not only like her perfection and the shape that she does. Like, she does such a good job on everybody that I've seen her work on, but I really think that the shading really sets her apart. If you guys are looking into somebody and you're not in the area and you're not able to go to Loann, I would definitely recommend finding somebody that does both. I think that the shading is key. So who would I recommend microblading to? To be honest with you guys, I would recommend that everybody gets it done. And I know that's dramatic, but okay, hear me out. Before I got this done, I always felt like, you know, if you want to get it, like, cool, but if not, like, cool. But to me, like, I just think everybody needs it just because it makes my life so much easier. Like, okay, maybe if you have perfect eyebrows or you don't care and you never fill in your eyebrows, then like, whatever, maybe you don't need it. But like, if you fill in your eyebrows ever, like, you just need to. I feel like it's so worth the investment. The time that I save every single day not filling in my brows is insane. Like, it actually took me so long to get used to it. Like, all of a sudden I'd be ready for work so much earlier, and I'm like, why am I ready for work so early? It's like, oh, because I didn't have to fill in my brows. Another really important thing I want to touch on is that I've had a lot of people say or ask me like, oh, so you mean like if I spend the money and make the plunge and get my eyebrows microbladed, then I won't have to get them done anymore. And that is 100,000% not the case at all. Microblading is amazing for looking like you have brows all the time. This does not mean that your hair is not going to grow anymore where you don't want it to grow. So you definitely need to continue getting your eyebrows waxed or tweezed or whatever you get done. Just because they're filled in, if they're growing in crazy, they're still gonna look crazy. And to be honest with you, I even tint mine still, and I know a lot of people that still get them tinted too, just because like it still makes so much of a difference. Microblading is really to eliminate the daily maintenance that we have to do, but like not the monthly waxing and or tinting. And I definitely, I mean, I find myself maintaining myself less because my brows look good most of the time, but stray hairs are stray hairs, and stray hairs are never gonna look good. No matter how good your brows look, stray hairs never look good. So I just really wanted to touch on that. We have clients all the time asking about that, and it's like, no, you still need to get your brows done because you're gonna be walking around with bushy eyebrows, but then, oh, this part will just be filled in a little bit. Like, no, that's not how it works. All right, guys, so that concludes this video. I really hope that it was helpful. I hope I was able to touch on anything you are unsure of or any questions that you might have. If I didn't, feel free to leave any comments, questions, concerns in the comment section down below. I will for sure get back with you guys on that. Also, while you're down there, you can leave any video requests you have for me. I love getting requests to do stuff. And yeah, that's everything for today. Don't forget to check out Loann's information in the description box. And don't forget to subscribe to see more of me, and you guys can give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys in my next one.